The real reason why society wants you to fap every day. Hello everyone, and welcome to Male Wisdom. In this video, I will explain why society wants you to fap every day and how doing so can harm your well-being. I will also explain how you are contributing to their goal. At the end of the video, you will look at fapping differently. If you want to see more videos like this in the future, make sure to like and subscribe to this channel for more. Have you ever pondered the dichotomy that exists on the internet, where professional content may be purchased, but adult movie can be accessed for free? Pornographic content uses up a sizable amount of the total bandwidth made available on the internet, as indicated by an infographic just made public by Paint Bottle, a brand new pornographic website. 30% of all the data transferred across the internet is pornographic. YouPorn, one of the more well-known video pornographic websites, sends its content using 6 times more bandwidth than that Hulu. 1/4 of all searches are conducted concerning the pornographic sector. When a person uses Google, they look for stuff that contains sexually explicit material around once every 4 times. People who are dependent on PMA contribute to the betterment of society because of their physical prowess and moral fortitude. The men who hold influential positions in huge organizations and the government present a danger to society. 1. Control. Consider this. It is much simpler to subjugate and rule a nation populated by people who are physically or mentally incapable of standing up for themselves than to dominate and rule a country occupied by powerful, capable, and potentially lethal men. They do everything they can to prevent you from rising against them. They make overtly advance their agendas this way without anyone being the wiser. A recent study in Germany suggests that males who consume excessive pornography may have a more sedentary lifestyle. According to researchers at the Max Planck Institute for Human Development in Berlin, higher rates of pornographic use by men in the study were associated with a lower volume of brain matter in regions related to reward and motivation. These findings were published in the journal Human Development. Can you conceive of a world in which there is no PMO? It would have such a significant bearing on the situation. In addition, alterations in dopamine transmission can contribute to depression and anxiety. Porn consumers had higher depressive symptoms, lower quality of life, and poorer mental health than people who do not view porn. 2. Dependence. Consumers are addicted males, sometimes known as addicts. Many men who indulge in PMO daily or weekly have developed the habit of gobbling up all they watch. They spend a lot of time sitting around and cannot be productive or entertain themselves. To prevent being overstimulated, the neurons that are getting dopamine shut down their receptors, but the neuron that is sending it continues to send it. Dopamine levels drop, and there is no response to dopamine as a direct consequence. When anything like this happens, you probably won't feel outstanding. It will be difficult to enjoy yourself. They transform into consumers who look to others for their delight and validation. One could say the same thing about women and precarious living. 3. The business of health care. The ruling class wishes for you to fall ill and become helpless. About this, sick people are essential to the success of the health care industry. When people get sick, they will want the assistance of a physician, the facilities of a hospital, and a great deal of medication. The cost of medical care in the United States is higher than in any other developed nation. In 2020, personal health care expenditures equaled $10,102 per resident, bringing the annual cost of health care to more than $4 trillion in the United States. The coronavirus outbreak, which is driving up health care costs, Even more, is putting additional strain on the budgets of both the federal and state governments. This is a significant problem, which is especially prevalent in the United States. You want an outbreak that affects as many people as possible. If you sell drugs, this method will allow you to make the most money. Mental ability comes in at number 4. When males discharge, they put themselves at an increased risk of developing mental illness and instability, according to one of the most notorious serial killers in the history of the United States. I would keep looking for different sorts of more intense, more explicit, and graphic material. As is the case with most other forms of addiction, you will continually look for something that is more challenging and will provide you with a more incredible feeling of excitement. In the same manner, as if it were an addiction, the brain is affected by pornography in a way comparable to that of a person addicted to a drug because it causes ever-increasing levels of dopamine to be released. After some time, the brain develops a tolerance to excessive amounts of dopamine. At this point, it requires either a higher level of access or a more severe degree of content or, in some cases, both to obtain the same level of experience pleasure. I was held captive for a considerable time until you reached the point where P could only take you so far. I've met a lot of men who, like myself, were driven to commit acts of violence. Without exception, all of them were involved entirely with P, and there's no question in my mind that addiction to P has deeply impacted and ruled their lives. Is it even remotely feasible that he is right? Yes, in my opinion, and let that number sink in for a second. 11 years old is the average age at which a young man is first exposed to sexually explicit material. When I was around that age, I used to view adult content daily. When I finally stopped, I discovered how much the content had influenced my thinking and how much it had changed my behavior. There is currently a generation of children affected by adult topics at a younger age than previous generations. Believe me when I say that elites stand to gain an incredible amount by dominating the thinking of people from a young age onward. Here's the deal. FAP gives you more harm than good. Addiction, loneliness, increased aggression, warped views and perceptions about relationships and sexuality, poor thoughts about themselves, and neglecting other parts of their lives are some of the usual adverse effects of pornography for users, according to a study by Moutz and Manning. But this doesn't mean there's no way out for you. When added to the other brain changes linked with addiction, sensitization can make it incredibly challenging to give up porn. Studies have shown that even in the most severe cases of addiction to substances or other behaviors, the brain may be able to recover over time with constant effort. It might sound impossible, but I'm sure you can do it despite its looks. Be careful not to surround yourself with individuals who won't encourage you to develop as a person or to go out and have a variety of experiences in life rather than just sitting back and watching other people do it. Make use of the chance provided by NoFap not only to build your self-confidence, but to make sure to contribute to the betterment of society. Do not give pornography the power to control your life. There are numerous advantages to quitting fapping, and I have compiled just a few of the lists. If you want to know more about these benefits, check my previous video. In the video, I discussed the 10 excellent and legitimate NoFap benefits that stood out to me. Make sure to check it out.